What's up, guys? Rich here. I saw a video the other day while I was browsing YouTube from an up-and-coming YouTuber named Tavarish, and he made a video about all the cars in his nice, big shop where everything is shiny and clean and worth a lot of money, and his famous friends fly in from overseas to see it. Now, it made me think of all the other automotive YouTubers that have these really nice shops and cool cars and great productive work environments with happy people, and I've learned that's not me. I actually don't have any of that. I have unhappy people that live in the cold, and most of us are struggling with some kind of addiction. But in this video, we will be doing a few things. One, giving an update on the cars that I have, and a tour of the shop, and really what's coming next for the channel, because obviously there's been some changes, and there's a possibility of moving. I live in one of the worst states ever when it comes to taxes and land, and I'm running out of land and money. And for 5 months out of the year, it's so cold that a lot of the projects I have, I can't drive and test because there's snow and ice on the ground or it's too cold. Whether that's the Hayabusa Swap Caddy or the McLaren or the V8 Z3, it's just not happening. So many projects end up sitting inside, and the Northeast has almost no car scene for 5 to 6 months out of the year. Now I'm finally understanding why Chris Fix and Tavarish moved from New Jersey to Florida, or why Bikes and Beards moved from Tennessee. The weather and the expensive square footage is starting to wear down on me. This is going to be an MTV Cribs style video. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember MTV Cribs, but remember when on MTV Cribs you'd see these massive mansions owned by celebrities at these sprawling landscapes, and then you saw Redman's house. He kept it real. This video is going to be pretty much the Redman's house of automotive YouTube car channels. Hey guys, Rich with Rich Rebuilds here, and we are on my only YouTube channel to talk about the status of my shop. And I know you guys have seen a lot of things in the shop, and you're amazed just as much as we are on how things actually get accomplished in this place. But I'm going to give you an in-depth tour tonight on how we operate in this shop and how things really don't get done. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any friends that are willing to fly overseas to come visit me, so I have my buddy Josh here from up the street. And my buddy Josh is going to act like the audience member and give us a mini tour with any questions he might have about the shop.
It's an interesting place you have here, for sure.
It's very interesting, yeah.
I don't even know what to say for half of it. I think my favorite thing so far is the AC unit that's sticking from your neighbor.
So just
inside here.
Just real quick, we're going to talk about some shop aesthetics. In the summertime, the neighbor slash tenant on the other side, when they want AC, they get the cool air, and all of the hot air blows back into the shop this way.
So you don't own this place?
No.
Was there more AC units up there?
So, funny story behind that. Well, actually, kind of a sad story. So when we had birds in the shop, they would actually go way up top.
Real birds?
Those real birds, yeah. Through those tiny little holes way up top, fly down in the walls. So we would have birds stuck in the walls. There'd be like 10, 20, 30 birds in the walls, just like flapping around, and they'd start dying. So we cut like relief holes in the walls, so when the birds go down, they could actually fly back out.
Was this before all that rice with that e-tron?
The rice is funny. This is even crazier. We have a major rat problem in the shop. Huge rat issue. I mean, the size of cats. They'd run around and they'd eat the rice that we have from the e-tron. Unfortunately, the birds would also eat the rice. And rice isn't good for birds. You know, they stopped doing the whole wedding thing where you can't have rice at weddings because like the wildlife eats them, and you have like...
Yeah, it expands in their stomach.
Yeah, and kills them. So like what we had to do was when the birds would fly in, they'd steal the rice, and like the rats would capture the bird. It was like a big mess. It was like we were destroying the ecosystem.
It's like National Geographic's in here.
Seriously,
yeah.
we were destroying the ecosystem. So after we got rid of the rice, they actually stayed here for some reason because it brought the birds in, and now the rats are getting the birds. It's a whole thing, and we can't because apparently the birds that are here are protected species, so we can't get rid of them. So the birds, technically, I pay rent to them now.
So what's up with this Humvee?
So this Humvee has a funny story behind it. I had a Humvee before, and I ended up selling it, and for some reason I regretted it, and I bought another Humvee, but this one is actually in worse condition than the first one was. This one has no rear drive shaft, only the front wheels work, but I bought it as a project several months ago, and of course I haven't started it, and it's taking up about 70% of the shop. I actually purchased these new steel doors for it. I wanted to do a 4-man kit, have a hard top, and do some various upgrades to it. Will I have enough money? Probably not. The hard top for this thing alone, you're looking at about $3,000 to $5,000 just for the hard top.
Has this thing actually seen war?
I don't believe so. I don't think most Humvees have actually seen actual combat. I think the ones that go overseas, what they do is they leave them there, and I think they end up just driving Toyota Tacomas for the most part for the insurgents.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to do a 4-man full hard door kit, but for some strange reason, doors for Humvees are just literally like $1,000 a pop.
They are flat pieces of steel.
They're flat pieces of steel. So because I couldn't afford that, I went with the half door option. Maybe give it a new powertrain. It might be electric, it might be gas or diesel, but it's probably going to end up being the same exact thing because who has time for that? I'm not really sure people are really interested in a Humvee build. So if you are, leave a comment below. You're probably not. It's probably going to take us forever, and you're going to see why.
I see a dryer.
There's a dryer there.
Is that an exhaust pipe?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting dryer. We don't have adequate heat in the shop. So what happens is we actually use this and we turn it against the door so it blows against the draft. Unfortunately, once all the lint comes out of the dryer, so we have to get a broom and sweep this once every few weeks. But unfortunately, there isn't enough room in the shop to have a washing machine as well. So we just use the dryer. So when we have like dirty clothes, for example, we actually put the dirty clothes in the dryer and we just turn the heat up. And like these are clean right now.
So what's this collection of batteries? Are you like salvaging them?
So what we do for batteries is we don't buy batteries in the shop. When we get a car, like a salvage car or a car that's on its last leg, I'll actually keep all the batteries. When you're in the shop, you never know when you need a battery.
Yeah.
And I don't really have time to run to the store and get new batteries and stuff. So these batteries are all salvaged. Most of them don't work. So what we have to do, we have to go to the process of bring them back to life. We add like water and soda and seltzer to them and stuff, and we put them on the charger. And most of them are dead. I would say there's probably about an 80 to 90% failure rate on these batteries.
Like Trulies? You add a Truly to one of those?
Yeah, pretty much. Add a little
Okay.
Truly. You add the lemon lime one.
Oh.
It has a little more citrus in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
You like the acidity.
So most of these don't work. I would say, actually, sorry, all of these don't work. The problem is that they're heavy. Bring them to the store, get them recycled and stuff. I don't really have time for that.
Yep.
So they generally stay here. But what I'll do is I'll actually forget that these don't work, and then I'll try to put them in a car, and then wonder why the car won't start.
We probably should work on getting you like one good battery here.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe two.
Do you have a vehicle that sometimes just ends up sitting? I mean, taking its rest or a little snooze. You do it, so why shouldn't your vehicle too? Maybe because you have 5 other projects, or maybe because there are other things taking up your time. It happens more often than not. But fortunately, you don't have to worry about that when there's a 10 out of 10 chance you live near an O'Reilly's or 5 of them. Go pick up a Superstart battery and stop using batteries that don't cut the mustard. You need reliable power. Superstart offers the best replacement car batteries and truck batteries that I've ever seen, providing outstanding quality power solutions that can handle the harshest environments and the toughest conditions. And if you go anywhere that snows, you already know, and if anything did happen to it, O'Reilly's battery warranty can bail you out of one of those 5 stores, and you can probably see from your window. As an added bonus, I have a question. Do you like O's? Because O Rewards, it's the best membership for rewards during birthdays, holidays, or even if the weather is bad, which it is right now. Snow is coming. You can actually check for weather-related deals, so head to one of the many O'Reilly stores that pretty much definitely exist near you somewhere and stock up because winter is here, all right? Winter has arrived, and I'm actually going to walk into my O'Reilly store right now and get some wiper blades because it is going to start snowing like crazy, and I want to make sure I am prepared for winter.
So does the Z3 run?
The Z3. This is the infamous clown shoe. I actually got this from a girl I met on Tinder. And this car, it was having some weird issues with it. Engine was running funny. I think it has low compression. It's losing coolant. We're not really sure, so we have to take a closer look at it. But the goal was for this one was to eventually supercharge it at some point. Can it be in this condition? I'm not really sure. Well, let's pop the hood real quick so you can see what's underneath it.
We got nothing.
Josh, could you pull the thing? It's on the, there's a thing on that side.
Right, eventually.
Right, yeah, there we go. Got it.
Okay.
That's an engine. This is the McLaren TCU. the transmission control unit. When the
Yeah.
McLaren got hit in the rear, this is what broke, and it costs a lot of money to replace this, and it costs even more money to program the new unit in. This is a tough one. This is the battery that put on the smoke show at SEMA.
Someone punctured it on purpose?
Someone punctured it when we were assembling the battery pack. One of the pieces of hardware was a little bit too long, and it actually went through this battery. So that's what started everything.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So we kept that.
Is it good to touch that battery still?
I'm sure it is. It's been a while.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our mini wall of shame. When something gets messed up, when something has an unintended event, we usually put it right here. But actually, there's actually so many things. The wall of shame has now spread throughout the entire
it's
shop.
growing.
Yeah, so the
Sadly growing.
whole shop is really one big wall of shame.
What's this engine going into?
This engine right here is actually for an LS swap we're doing. So we got a lot of these parts from Summit Racing. We have a new cam. We have new aluminum heads. We have headers. We have a whole bunch. We actually have a new throttle body that we're going to install on it, and also a high-rise intake.
Is this stock engine?
This is a stock. Well, it was stock engine, yeah. But now just bolt-on stuff, just top-end stuff, no pistons or rods. This is actually going in the other Z3 that I own over there.
So if you don't have one working one, you buy a second working.
That's what you
non-working
have
one.
to do. Yeah. So
Okay.
if that one doesn't work, you buy another one that doesn't
Yeah.
work, and you just kind of rattle them together and hope that one of them works.
Do you think they have like automotive AA meetings? Automotive's Anonymous?
They should.
Yeah.
They really should. So when I saw that this one had a hard top, I was all for it. I just don't like convertible stone. They scream old and dated.
Old white guy is what I think.
Old white. There's nothing wrong with being white. Just be who you are.
Yeah.
Love yourself. Love who you are. So this one is actually going to be, again, an LS swap. The engine's already removed out of this one, and at a later time, you're going to be seeing an LS motor going to this one. You want to see our heat? Our heat's very interesting.
There is heat? This has heat?
We use a waste oil burner for
Okay.
our heating system. So if you look here, whenever we do an oil change, we'll dump it in this bin,
Yeah.
and we'll pick it up, and we'll put it in these transfer tanks right here. There's another bin for oil changes we have right there as well. So those are the transfer bins. In those transfer bins, there's a suction hose. That suction hose goes to this tank, right? And that's the main tank. So you can see there's a lot of sludge. It's very disgusting on that tank because we don't really do a good job cleaning around it.
What's this red tank then?
This is our secondary tank.
Oh, who's that?
Sorry. This is our secondary tank that we use for stuff. This was the primary tank, but
Yep.
what happened was this is actually filled with mostly water. And we can't get rid of this because it's been kind of mixed with
Does water sit lower or higher than oil?
I think the water sits lower.
So you could drain it.
We don't really have the time to figure out how high or low the water level is, so we just bought a new tank.
So it goes from that to that to that.
Right, to that. But
To maybe this?
This is bypassed. So no, so what we do is, okay, so follow me here, ready?
I'm trying.
Follow me. Now I forgot. You do an oil change. You put it in the white transfer tanks.
Okay.
Okay. There's a suction tube that's in those transfer tanks that goes to this tank,
Okay.
right? Once this tank is full, which it never is,
Yep.
because no one gives us oil.
Yeah.
If that tank is ever full, we will switch to this tank. What ended up happening was we actually got a really bad batch of oil from someone. There was oil, coolant, diesel, like blood, all kinds of stuff in it. We couldn't burn it. So because that tank was so contaminated, we actually had to buy a new tank. So we bought this new tank. Turns out the same person gave us more of that terrible oil. So now this one is also contaminated.
Fool me once, I'm not getting oil from you.
Right.
Fool me twice, give me another tank.
That's not what happened. So they fooled me once, right? Then they fooled me again.
Yeah.
The system's a nightmare.
Yeah.
The oil is contaminated, and also the airline is full of water.
At least you're eco-friendly though.
We're
Yeah.
we recycle, except when you have 700 gallons of contaminated oil. Then it's not good at all.
Yeah.
It's actually much worse.
So I know you who have a big focus on EVs, and I love how you kept the original patina on these batteries.
Yeah,
That's
so
the,
these batteries are seconds from exploding. at any given point in time. But the problem is that forklift batteries are expensive, and I don't really have the budget to replace them. This entire battery pack weighs thousands of pounds, but it's only 36 volts.
You think how many batteries, like Milwaukee, those Milwaukee batteries, would it take to power one of these?
Well, it really wouldn't take much, but here's the problem. Oh, these are all empty. Here's the problem with that is that this also serves as a counterweight as well.
Oh, good
So
point.
you need as much weight as possible because this is supposedly could lift, 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, and the less weight you have back here, the whole thing will tip forward.
Right.
So the more weight you have back here, the better off you are. So usually when we do this, whenever we use a forklift, I usually have a friend hanging off the back. There's actually a pretty big hole, as you can see, where most of this is growing from.
Do you do anything to stop it?
I don't want to disturb that. If I disturb that, then I disturbed it. So if I usually want to leave those there because that actually plugs up the massive holes in the
Right.
battery. But again, there's not enough time to really to maintain everything. That's why we need help. But the problem with help is that they come, realize the place is a nightmare,
You have
and they
to pay
quit.
them.
And then they quit. It's like that circle of life. You have like the fertilization, and then like it's born, and then it grows up.
What do you fertilize?
And then it eats. Well, I mean, like the animal,
Right,
a
okay.
cycle, and then eats something, and then it grows big, and it dies, and then it fertilizes again. Well, not after death. You know what I mean, right? So
Yeah.
for this, it's like it's one of the things where someone comes in and they're like, "Hey, this is really cool," and then they realize what it's really like, and they leave, and then the new person comes in. Wow, it's really cool. That's what it's like, and they go. That's happened 7, 8 times already. Let's go. Let's go in the back room.
Just like mistletoe tips there?
Hold on here. This. Hold on. Be careful. This is the step. That's a soft step.
Want to know how I can
Don't-
fix that?
Don't step there.
Fixed.
Yeah, but that's just wood on top of a soft step, though. Does that really fix the problem? Yeah. All right. This is where we eat. This is where we use the restroom. This is the kitchen. It's like an all-in-one type of thing, and it's also part storage.
Yeah.
So this here we have our fridge. We keep most of our food in here. This is what feeds the team. They
Ketchup?
live off of ketchup and High Noons, and Trulies as well. I don't know what this is. You'll notice the second fridge. This fridge doesn't work. This is just the stand.
This just makes the other one higher.
It's a pedestal for the other one.
Okay.
So we don't really have a fancy pedestal for that one. This is a lot of alcohol here. I mean, I'm not really a big alcohol drinker, but a lot of people that work here, they usually come, drink, and then leave. This also here, this is, I'm not kidding you, 3 days.
This is maybe worth more than some of those vehicles.
This is 3 days
Okay.
worth of alcohol. This will take down a giraffe if you're not careful. There's a lot of alcohol in here. Judging by the smell, these are also urination bottles as well.
Yep.
So we have a curtain that goes around this, and this is actually very strong. These are metal legs. You actually shower in the sink.
Okay.
So you stand up in here, put the thing on, and you
And you
wash.
can look at all your African paraphernalia.
Yeah, again, those are all gifts.
Yes.
Pictures of the kids. That's the reason why we work so hard.
Yeah.
I
Aren't
think.
they really old now, though?
Yeah, they're a little bit older. I haven't really contacted their mom to get updated photos
Yeah.
and stuff. So
I'm pretty sure they're much older.
They're a lot older now. They're in college.
Okay.
So this is split into two different sections. From
what? What's the separator?
for this, it's the Log Chopper 3000 separator.
Okay.
This is our toilet.
Yep. Direct
Toilet.
sight of the front door, so you can.
See who's coming in.
Yep.
This is the kitchen table. This is where we kind of do our business and stuff. We do it right here. You can sit down and kind of see who's coming in the shop.
Yep.
Keep the door open. When the heat does work, the heat comes in here. It feels really good. So this is a part of our heating system here. Because what happens, we don't have any fans mounted from the ceiling in the shop. The hot air from the heater, it immediately goes to the roof.
Right.
So pretty much the shop will be like 32 degrees, and it'll be 240 degrees up here.
Makes sense.
What we've come up with Joey and I, we said, you know what? What if there's a way we could bring a fan up here and actually blow it downwards? So we did that. So we have it at a very specific angle.
Yep.
This is about like a 45-degree angle or so on top of these two tires. And it actually blows the heat down. But it only blows it in a very specific area right there. So you only get warm on that lift, which is right there. Bunch of old motors that I was working on. This is part of the...
Do those work still?
They still work. This is the part of the giveaway I was doing. So I did a video where I was giving away all my Tesla parts, and those are the two things I didn't give away. What I did was I said, hey guys, have all my Tesla stuff, all my EV conversion parts. And I said, you know, I want to make sure they're going to a good home. So I gave them all away, thousands of dollars worth of stuff. They immediately turned around and sold them on eBay. Immediately sold everything.
Classic.
So I learned something. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. People can be mean and not very nice. So I kept those two motors. I kept the two biggest and most outdated things I could find.
So these all spare battery packs?
Those are spare batteries.
Good, bad?
Those are good. But the company that gave us those, they want them back. Yeah, they said that we didn't do anything with them. They've been there for years. They said, you guys have done nothing. You guys are worth nothing. We wasted our time with you on several occasions. We want those back. And they want a fee on top of it. So we really messed. That'll actually go on our wall of shame.
Yeah. Is this from Model D?
That's from Model D, yeah.
Are we ever going to see that one?
You know, I hope so. I think we will see Model D again. There have been some issues with manufacturing, a couple things with it. It needs a lot of custom parts made. It's not an easy project by any means, but I think we'll probably see it, you know, sooner than later.
Okay. So I know a couple weeks ago this was running.
This was running a couple weeks ago, yes. And we suffered an unfortunate incident, broke something, a coupler on top of the engine.
That's not supposed to spin though, right?
That's not supposed to spin at all, no. That actually got stripped. I'm actually surprised that they make aluminum ones, given how much power these things actually make. What we should have done was we should have custom made our own steel one. But when this happened, we actually realized a few things. We realized, A, even if we had a steel one, this could very well happen again because this transmission isn't built. This is a stock transmission, and it's actually moving, you know, a 2,000-pound car as opposed to a few hundred-pound motorcycle. What we're going to end up doing, we're actually going to split the case from the engine block. We're going to upgrade the transmission. We're going to get new pistons and rods for the engine. And we're actually going to do straight cut gears in the transmission so we can actually hold more power.
How much horsepower does that old engine have for the truck?
That rear engine should have made about 350 to 400 horsepower. So after we're done, we're hoping to be somewhere in the mid fives to low sixes.
With just the engine?
With just the engine alone. Yeah, so straight cut gears. We have the turbo, which the turbo blew. Surprise, surprise. The turbo, it wasn't getting enough oil, so that blew. Then we got another turbo off of Amazon, and then we were able to get back up and running pretty quickly.
You've got a ton of cars now. You've got the McLaren.
Yep.
Would you sell the McLaren or sell that?
The McLaren. The McLaren would be the first on the chopping block. That I'm still paying for that car, and it is the amount that I put into that car. I have yet to drive it, but I'm curious to see if it's going to be as fun as a driving experience as the Z06 for the price. Because in terms of bang for the buck, you're not going to beat a Z06 and a McLaren anytime soon.
I feel like I have constant anxiety if anything broke on that car.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything.
It's ridiculous.
Road debris, hitting it, anything.
In a school zone, you have kids. So like,
don't hit the kids. That's,
no, don't. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But if they jump in front of it, I can't react
Understood.
fast enough. So the thing with the Z06 is that I'm not saying that it could beat a McLaren, but in terms of bang for the buck, you know, you step on the accelerator pedal and you go wee, and it pushes you back in your seat. Do you want to do it for 40,000, or do you want to do it for 240,000? You know, this is the Chevy SS. I've always wanted one of these, and the second I bought it, I think I regretted it almost immediately. This actually does need quite a bit of work. It's suffering quite a bit of rust issues. It does run and drive. The transmission cooler is not connected. One of the lines rusted and blew out, so the transmission really isn't shifting properly, nor is it cooling. There's a clear leak in the windshield when I open the door after the car's been sitting for a while. There's drips all over the dashboard. There is some rust bubbling in the rear quarters. The air suspension needs work. It's completely deflated. This will be the next project for sure. We're hoping to do some really fun stuff with this. I was thinking a twin turbo kit. Never had a twin turbo truck before, but it does need quite a bit of work. This is back in the day when Chevy actually cared about performance trucks and performance vehicles. Now they really have nothing in their lineup that could even compete with this. I remember back in the day, they had the SS actually meant something. They had the Typhoon, they had the Cyclone, they had trucks like this, they had the 454 pickup truck. Nowadays, you know, they canceled the Camaro, and most of their focus has been on the Corvette C8. But I definitely miss the era of performance trucks through Chevy. This was cheap enough. Figured I'd buy it, build it up, turn it into something. But this will be a project that's coming up next. This is the farm truck, the infamous farm truck. A couple years ago, we ran some nitrous through it, made some really good power numbers. But this is the truck that I want to get going again for sure. It is such a fun truck. I think it's up there with the TRX in terms of fun. It's not as fast as the TRX, but you could actually feel all the torque that it makes. This is powered by a 5.9 Cummins, 12 valve. It's just, it makes all the noises, pours all the smoke. Right now, this does need brakes. It's having some pretty big braking issues right now. This is non-intercooled. So when I was pulling Robert's truck back from New Hampshire to New York, it did overheat quite a few times. So it's definitely not built for towing. In the future, we want to have a custom intercooler, probably right here. I think there's enough space for it. I just want to make sure it's going to get enough airflow. But this was a really, really, really fun truck. And I don't think I'll be getting rid of this anytime soon. This is the definition of they don't make them like this anymore. Really fun. Right now, we're here with Adam. And Adam has his Porsche up on this lift. He's actually renting this bay from us, and because you got to make rent. You know, when you make YouTube videos once every 3 weeks now instead of every week. What is this Porsche doing here? Is it electric?
Yeah. No, it's not electric. So what I've done here is it's a fuel injection system that is based on motorcycle throttle bodies. So this is a 1979, and in this time period, it was kind of that awkward adolescent stage of fuel injection. In 79 was kind of a mechanical system. This is very crude, really crude system. At the time, amazing. But previous to that, in the 60s and 70s, they had these beautiful either carburetors that had these vertical stacks, or they had a very early different type of injection system that was these beautiful stacks. And I used to see all these pictures of it from like the late 60s and 1970, just these trumpets, and they make a very different sound. So I always thought it'd be really cool. What if you could take motorcycle throttle bodies, this is off an MV Agusta 3-cylinder, and made parts so that you could actually have a totally electronic fuel injection system that looks like the 1970 old carburetor system. So that's what this is. And I call the project Alphabet Engine because it's drive-by-wire, so DBW, it's EFI, electronic fuel injection. I'm changing the ignition to coil unplug, which is actually why you guys keep coming in to check on me, because for wellness checks, I don't kill myself, because the coil unplug at this point
we don't
has...
want that. Get a free sweet Porsche, though.
Get a free car if I kill myself.
Adam, how long have you been here for at the shop?
I guess it's been... overstayed my welcome probably about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably about like 6 weeks. I owe you a lot of waste motor oil. It's about being able to interact with the engine at a whole different intimate level of now with the laptop, I can control and monitor just about anything and can constantly tune, but I have the aesthetics of the old 1970s style. It'll be the idea of the throttle bodies. Like 20 years ago, a friend and I were talking about, like, could you take motorcycle throttle bodies?
Right.
And I spent a long time trying with a set of Triumph, seeing if that would work. And then when the MV Agusta came into my line of sight, I was like, oh, this could be it. So my profession is I'm an engineer, which is why I like these kinds of crazy projects. So I started Instagram recently to track these projects I do, so my customers and other people can check them out. So you can follow this there, Adam Barrett, last name spelled B-A-H-R-E-T. Check it out on Instagram. So it'd be pretty cool.
Note to the editor, side note, cut that part out. We don't plug Instagrams for free here, so just make sure that doesn't get...
I wanted to share a note that the Climate Exchange is running their 8th annual EV raffle, and there's less than a month left to enter. There are actually more than 2 kinds of EVs out today, and Climate Exchange offers your choice of some of the best as a grand prize of a fully customized EV worth up to $112,835,000 and the price of a fully loaded Tesla Model X Plaid, and they even pay the taxes and will help you order from a local dealership. Also, since sometimes charging stations can be non-working or frozen in these winter temperatures, Climate Exchange is also giving the grand prize winner an extra $5,000 to help pay
for a home charger, or you can use it for an on-the-road since, well, electricity is also not free. So right now, the odds of winning are actually really great, and there's only a few weeks until the drawing, and they sold out around half of the 5,000 available tickets. It's for a great cause to help pass climate policy, and sales end before February 27th or when tickets sell out, and the winners will be drawn on February 29th. So hippity-hoppity over to buy tickets at carbonraffle.org and get a move on. Okay, as you can see, another car has showed up here. This is a Honda Beat, and I got it from Coastal Classics, and it didn't work, so they just kind of gave it to me. And as you can see, the shop is getting more and more crowded, and this is one of the main reasons why I need more square footage, because when good deals like this come along, I have to have a place to put it, and right now, I don't really have any place to put it. I just want to give you guys an idea of what the project board looks like. This is my book, by the way. I have a book. I'm gonna tell you about that later. These are the quick video ideas that we have, projects for 2024, as well as fantasy builds, projects, Mini Cooper, that's already started. Next one's V8 Z3, Trailblazer SS. Gotta bring back Ice-T and tune it. Ice-T is another funny topic because there is literally no room for Ice-T in this shop. It's been in Florida for a very long time. And because I have no room here, the shop's pretty much almost at max capacity at this point. Ice-T can't come back until I have more room. But in my next video, I think I sort of have a semi-solution for that, but I'll tell you guys about that next video. Modifications to the 911 Turbo, Hellcat minivan, Model D, hopefully get that finished at some point, maybe. Jet boat, working on the Humvee, the Clown Shoe supercharging, finishing up the mini Jeep that we have up there, and the Arcimoto, which is the three-wheeled car that we have. So these are all the things that we would really like to accomplish over the next year or so, but unfortunately, with the room in this shop, it's just kind of not working out. So that's one of the main reasons why, you know, I'm thinking of actually going to a new location. So if you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, I'm kind of thinking Florida. Florida gets a bad rap sometimes. Tennessee is another hot one that people can be moving to. So any ideas, just kind of drop it below in the comment section. I'm looking for various things like square footage, nice quality of life. And honestly, I'd like the pricing to be a lot lower than other places. But at this point, you're really not going to get too much more expensive than Massachusetts. It's an insanely expensive state to be in. So, and last but not least, we have the basement. So we have the Arcimoto over there. We have the Talaria in the corner. And we have the McLaren 720S. This is an extremely difficult car to work on, but I have almost the whole thing assembled at this point. I have to do some more adjustments to the hood to remove those gaps that McLaren put there from the factory. I have to put the McLaren factory logo back on as well. But other than that, doing this in a garage that is currently, I believe, 27 degrees is no easy feat. So I have a space heater there, a space heater in that corner, and depending on the specific area of the car that I have to work on, I'll put the space heater there. So the car is almost done. I'll be putting the space heater in the back to get some warmth there because there's so much draft going through the doors. But again, this is one of the big problems with working in the Northeast. Heat is a really, really big issue, and working when it's 27 degrees is not the easiest thing to do. There's no real easy way I can get heat in here, so I have to use space heater. So once the McLaren 720 is done, I run into the secondary problem of figuring out how to actually start the test driving process on the streets, because again, the roads are cold, the tires are cold, there's salt and sand. Because this car was just painted, I really can't, risk messing up the brand new paint job by getting salt on it. Salt absolutely destroys cars up here. I think this is too nice of a car to succumb to that. So here's the Arcimoto. On this side, I don't really know what the plan is for this Arcimoto. It runs and drives. You've seen it in a few videos. It is a super, super, super fun vehicle just to fart around with. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do in terms of some kind of conversion. Believe it or not, I actually have 3 of these things. Yes, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 Arcimotos. What do you do with Arcimotos? I really don't know. Any ideas, you guys shoot it to me in the comment section, but this has been a super, super, super fun vehicle that I enjoy playing with. This is a really fun thing to drive in the summertime. But this is the overall tour of the garage. Again, it's super cold in here. It's about 27 at the moment. If I turn these space heaters on, I could probably get it up to 30 degrees, but it's just really, really difficult working in these conditions. Like I said, in other states, the Carolinas, Florida, I don't have to worry about this. You know what? Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Nice job.
It is running. That was only
That's not bad.
talking maybe craziness. Who said you couldn't run a Porsche on solo cups?
Nice work.